Listen, most shonen protagonists would be terrible to hang out with in real life. The vibe would be dead in 5 minutes. I get that these are the characters we're supposed to root for. We spend hundreds of hours and thousands of episodes watching them, and a lot of the time, we can relate to their struggles and growth. I'm not denying the good deeds or miracles they perform, but think about it. We ignore their lack of social awareness because they have a high charisma stat. Being a martyr or narcissist aren't traits that I want in my friends, and they definitely aren't things we should be encouraging outside of a TV screen. We need to stop calling these heroic traits and start calling them what they actually are: red flags. So consider this an intervention. In this video, we'll be going over 10 of the genre's biggest icons to show why their main character energy is really just a collection of personality flaws. Let's get into it. First up is the man who invented the shonen protagonist archetype, Goku. We all love him. Pure-hearted, innocent, funny, and has saved the Earth like 20 times. But let's be honest, his heroics are nothing more than a byproduct of his adrenaline junkie tendencies. Goku's main priority is to satisfy his crippling addiction of punching things stronger than himself. Remember the Senzu bean with Cell? He basically handed a golden apple to a robot nightmare who was trying to kill everyone he loved. You could call it a gamble betting on Gohan awakening his true power, and he did end up winning it, but this was insane. Why take that risk? Just let your son bury the threat while he's weakened. Or how about when he hired Hit and put a bounty on his own head? What happened to just asking your sparring partner to not hold back? That's not enough for Goku. If I were his therapist, I'd tell him that his love for the grind is actually just a pathological avoidance of his responsibilities as a father and husband. Piccolo was right, your son needs a father, not a coach. But if the Saiyan is the grandfather of red flags, the boy made of rubber is the one who made them into sails for his ship. Luffy's carefree nature is usually described as freedom, but in reality, we call that a lack of boundaries. The guy treats no as a suggestion because he's already decided what's going to happen. Don't get me wrong, Luffy's not a bad guy. His biggest flaw is that his moral compass is almost entirely dependent on his immediate vibes and how full his stomach is. You're getting defeated because you made his friend cry, and that made him feel bad, not because what you're doing is wrong. But if you cook up a 10-course meal, maybe he'll put that off for about an hour. The consequences or collateral damage of his actions aren't considered. He's just acting on instinct. Like when he punched a celestial dragon on a whim because Hachi got shot. Did they deserve it? Absolutely. Was it the smartest thing to do? Absolutely not. But this is what I mean. He'll put an entire island in the world government's crosshairs just because it felt right in the moment. His impulses are a big liability, but it gets worse when you look at his other main flaw, the lack of emotional intelligence.
Objection!
Luffy definitely has some, but it needs to be developed. He'll understand that you're feeling sad or angry, but don't even bother trying to get advice from him. If it's not a problem he can solve with a punch, you're getting literally slept on while you pour your heart out. If you're his friend, count on lots of good memories and fun times. Just don't expect any emotional depth. Truth is, desire for freedom has many forms. For these two, it's carnage. Here comes the God Complex brothers, probably the biggest red flag of them all. My sense of justice and freedom is more important than anything else. I'm right, you're wrong. Other lives pale in comparison to their goals, let alone differing viewpoints and beliefs. Nothing matters but their own desires, and they'll do whatever it takes to achieve them. Narcissists love to paint gray situations as black and white. All you need is a bag of potato chips or a pep talk to yourself in the mirror, and you can convince yourself that you're the only one qualified to fix the world's problems. To think so highly of yourself to genuinely believe you can do it alone is crazy. Even when Eren shows a flash of guilt for his actions, the narcissism still wins. His vision of freedom is more important than your right to exist. Ends can justify the means easily when your own internal struggle is the only one that matters. Friendship with these two would be insufferable. They see people as tools or obstacles to overcome rather than individuals. Every conversation would be nothing more than a waiting room for their next whatever it takes moment.
I've won. Exactly as planned.
If you don't agree with their philosophies, you get kicked to the curb. They have convinced themselves that being a martyr for their ego is a virtue. The most dangerous part is how their unbreakable will gives them a total lack of self-preservation. They will burn their lives, relationships, and even the entire planet to the ground to justify their convictions. This brand of self-sacrifice is built on thinking highly of yourself, but it can also come from a sense of obligation. Ichigo's savior complex comes from unresolved trauma and survivor's guilt. He was too young and weak to save his mother from being killed. So now, he'll shoulder all danger to keep his friends out of harm's way. At first glance, this seems like a great person. Who wouldn't want a friend willing to go to hell and back for you? But it's only positive to a point. The amount of help Ichigo would insist on giving me is too much. It would be suffocating, and I would actually find it insulting. Does he think so lowly of me that he doesn't think I can tie my own shoes without help? I'm an adult. I don't want help unless I ask. Friendship isn't supposed to be a security gig, and your life isn't more disposable than mine. He has to realize that protecting someone also means being there for them afterward, not dying in the meantime. But at least you know he cares, not like these next two. If you like being emotionally ghosted, you're in the right place. There's a difference between being chill and empty inside. Saitama's just too strong to care. Better keep whatever you're saying to 20 words or less, or you have no chance of him remembering it. If you're not giving him a fight on a universal scale, you don't matter. And even then, you'd have to kill his only disciple to capture his attention. You'd probably have a better chance of him listening if you presented it as sludge content. You know, those split-screen TikToks where one half is you talking and the other grocery store flyers or Subway Surfers gameplay? If there isn't a constant stream of limited-time sales sensory input flooding his brain, you're just background noise to his existential dread. And for Frieren, she's just too old to care.
Kill yourself.
She's experienced almost everything life has to offer, and my entire lifespan feels like a summer weekend to her. Why bother learning my middle name or life goals if I'll be dead in the blink of an eye? It's an elf-exclusive form of narcissism. You'll get hit with the "you up" text 50 years later, when you're on your deathbed, instead of the next night. But the worst thing about the Slayer is her disrespect for other people's time. Obviously, I don't want to spend a decade in a village in the middle of nowhere so you can get more spells for spotless laundry. Let's get a move on. My schedule isn't infinite like yours. Being too strong or too old to care is annoying, but understandable. But what about the high school kid who thinks he's just too cool? Is Jotaro really stoic and reliable, or just antisocial? I don't want a friend who makes me do all of the emotional lifting in the relationship. Imagine talking to Jotaro about your current struggle just to get hit with a basic conversation with me shouldn't be a chore. Your emotional repression isn't a personality, bro. It's time to grow up. Swearing at your mother and calling her names doesn't make you cool. And Naruto might be the complete opposite of Jotaro. In his mind, talking things out is always an option and everything can be solved with the power of friendship, no matter how severe. He'll smother you with his presence. You could call him persistent and well-intentioned, but I think he's overbearing. His need to fix everything is just too much. If your boy abandons you to kill his brother, then tries to kill your teacher and friend, it's okay to let that relationship go. Terrorists bombing your village don't need to be reconciled with either. Just whoop the bad guy's butt and leave it at that. In our case, he ate all my ramen for the week. I was looking forward to trying that new flavor. I just don't want to talk for a bit. Give me some space. My boundaries are there for my sanity. You're supposed to respect them. They aren't meant to be obstacles to our bond. Naruto's biggest shortcoming is that he'll hold on to connections forever, no matter the cost. The last character's red flag is that he has no moral foundations for his relationships at all. Gon is a moral clean slate, which is terrifying. A childlike sense of wonder is often praised, but the kid takes it to a sociopathic level. On the surface, he may seem innocent, but look closer. That innocence is just a lack of a filter. There's no moral compass or sense of right and wrong to be found. He only cares about what interests him or what challenges him in that moment. Being his friend would mean having to put up with the most diverse group of mutuals ever. A child assassin, a revenge-bent androgynous maniac, and a grown man in a clown cosplay with questionable tastes. As long as you're cool or strong, you pass Gon's vibe check. This purity is a massive red flag because it's hollow. The clean slate is actually an empty mind waiting to be filled by the next impulse. If things go wrong, like with Pito, that innocent little boy transforms into a monster who will sacrifice whatever necessary to get what he wants. There's too much volatility in his emotions. You're only safe if your goals align with his. I hope this talk has made you realize that when you take off the plot armor, the things that make these characters legendary also make them hard to have a conversation with. And those are the red flags of our favorite shonen protagonists. I think Ichigo would make the best friend out of this list, but let me know if you agree. If you want to see more videos like this one, hit like and subscribe, and make sure to choose your friends wisely. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.